Nowadays, public transportation in Thailand is quite complex. It is not that convenient as we expect. Public transport modes include bus, tuk-tuk, taxi, motorcycle taxi, Song Tao, BTS Skytrain, MRT subway, train, and airplane. These are now getting expensive and also giving poor services.
It costs people to pick a better service for themselves, even though it is illegal in Thailand. This service is called car sharing. Let's see what our team says about car sharing service in Thailand.
For what's happening to public transportation in Thailand, people are getting unhappy with the services. They are complaining about them every day. Meanwhile, they are getting to know another service, which is called car sharing. It starts having a great influence over public transport modes. So, how is this car sharing going to work in Thailand?
I believe most people tired of using the public transportation in rush hours. They are not only in a hurry but also in a crowd. All public transportation modes will be full of people who want to use the service. Using car sharing, they don't have to worry about the crowd and the chaos that can be occurred. It is also comfortable and cheap, so it works for sure.
For me, I think people can save more time during traveling to work or school. Some people they have to get up very early just to wait for a bus to take to their destination on time. If they pick car sharing as a choice of traveling, I believe that they can save more time to do what they want to do instead of waiting for a bus every morning. I think it's worth it.
Oh, I see that the crowd and the time are the two important factors for the people to choose car sharing. What about using this service? I have heard that people need to have its own application to get this service, right?
Yeah, exactly. They will easily find the application on Play Store or App Store. If they want to use the service first, they just use the app to search for the closest car sharing that is going on direction as them. Then they just have to pick location that they want car sharing to pick them up and drop them off. After that, the fare will show up and the last step is to confirm the trip. That's it. It is extremely easy.
Yeah, it is because car sharing services provide people a convenient transportation. Passengers don't have to leave their place for the bus stop. They can easily catch a car sharing by just using their phone. The nearest car will show up in front of their place in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Moreover, comparing between taxis and car sharing, they are going to save a lot more money. While they spend 200 baht for taxis, car sharing may only charge them for half price, which is around 100 baht in the same distance.
Oh, it sounds really nice, and I have realized that the step of using this service is not that hard as I think, and it is also very cheap. What about people living in the rural area? Do you have any chances to get this service?
For now, as I say, car sharing has been provided in the big cities like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Pattaya, and also Phuket. But I believe that people living in the rural area will have the chance of using the car sharing service for sure in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. Dudik. I think car sharing is expanded, and the important thing is every age needs the service like this because it is more comfortable than using public transportation.
Oh, it seems like car sharing is one of the most popular choices for the people in big cities. But however, how do you feel so sure that people living in the rural area are going to use this service? Don't you think that it won't be too expensive for them?
In reality, it's not expensive at all. From my experience, I used to take a motorcycle taxi from Phaya bus station to my house, and the distance is like 5 kilometers. And it charged me like 80 baht. While traveling with car sharing, they will charge you only for half price, which is around like 40 baht. Don't you think that it's cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I think differently. As we see, the rural area doesn't have as many tourists as the big city. The amount of people who want to use public transport is less than the big city, so there will be only minimum people who want to use car sharing. Some people might need it, but others might not.
Moreover, I think most people who live in rural areas have their own vehicles. They might not want to use those public transportation and car sharing. And for some people who don't have their own vehicles, I think just only bus and motorcycle taxis are enough.
Oh, other thing you just told me, there are advantages and disadvantages. But could you explain me more about both of them? Let's talk about advantages first.
The advantage that come to my mind right now is reducing demand for parking. Nowadays, people take lots of time on finding a parking for their car. It causes many problems such as being late at work or school, wasting more gas and being stuck in a parking lot for a while. People can solve this problem by just using the car sharing. It will help to reduce cars on the road and also the demand for parking.
For me, I think it's about the pollution. Right now, the pollution is the important factor that leads to global warming. Normally, cars are one of the biggest problems that cause that pollution, because car produce the gas like carbon dioxide, methane, and also nitrous oxide on the road. So if people pick car sharing as a choice of traveling, I believe that the pollution in Thailand can be less. And also the global warming will get better than before.
In my point of view, car sharing is one of the ways to meet new people. Passengers who want to use car sharing service might have different duties in the society and also comes from different parts of the world. They can become each other's best friend lady because during traveling, they can exchange each other's ideas, experiences, and opinions. Fortunately, they probably become each other's supporter.
Alright, I got the idea you just described to me. All the advantages are reducing a requirement for the parking lots, meeting new friends, and releasing pollution of the global warming. What about disadvantage? Could you please explain me more about it?
In my opinion, I think that the profit of car manufacturer will be lower than before because people tend to use car sharing services more than buying a car from the car dealership. So, new investors who want to start a business of selling cars in Thailand will see that it is too risky to invest.
I couldn't agree more. This effect is also related to the economy in Thailand. It shows how well Thailand progresses. If Thailand keeps having less investment like that for a while, I can't even imagine how many trouble will happen to our country.
Oh, I see that car sharing also has an advantage, which is lower car investment. Before we end up our discussion, I would like to know that car sharing is safe enough to take. Do you have any idea about it?
From my view, I think that car sharing is not that safe enough because bad people can use this option to trick all the innocent people. As we can see from the television, there are many news that report about some passengers who were raped or kidnapped by those one while they were on the way to somewhere. So car sharing can be a new choice of bad people.
I'm not going to say that it's 100% safe, like bad people, they can disguise as a driver to rob and harm the passengers. So in this case, the passengers better remember the detail of the car such as the license plate, the color, the series. So, if bad thing happens, they can tell the correct detail to the police. So the police can get the right information to get the robber. The most important thing is you must be conscious when you're in danger.
Oh, that's alright everyone. Thank you for being here to share your experience and your ideas about car sharing. I really appreciate all of them so much. And I just hope that our discussion will spread out into every Thai person. Thank you.